EP003.
Welcome back, local politics.
Today we have the man, I kind of joke a little bit, but it's true. The man that fixed Cibolo, the Mayor Stosh Boyle is in the house. We're very fortunate to know him. And one thing I wanted to start off with that I kind of thought about when I knew that Mayor Boyle was coming in, Stosh, is the reason I know Jason Setzer is because of Stosh. He called me one day and he said, "Hey, I got this buddy. He's moving into Selma and he does some computer drafting and all this kind of stuff." And then I called you and I had you in my name as Sets because that's what Stosh called you, was Sets. And so I put you in my phone and you're still in there as Sets. And then you must have been in here like a year or two and you called me and you said, "Hey, I'm doing the sign company. Can you do a website or something?" And that's kind of how you and I met. And it's all thanks to this guy.
We were at the Blue Bonnet and we were at the Big Blue, the barbecue section of the Blue Bonnet where they serve all the barbecue food.
Yep.
And you were walking out. I think it was a chamber meeting or something. And I was like, "Hey, I know you're leaving. I'm sorry to ask you. This is my problem. Would you be interested in helping me solve it?"
If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ revolves it.
So, and I met Stosh, I think, probably through my brother, right? Or you were doing soccer or...
No, we met at a Frisbee golf tournament. You were wearing that obnoxious powder blue Lions shirt.
Yeah.
Hey, you're a Green Bay Packers fan, huh?
The elevator pitch, please, sir, who you are, what you do, and who you do it to.
Okay, so we are talking about the mayor hat, right?
Yes, the mayor hat.
So Stosh Boyle. I am a native of northern Wisconsin. I moved in the area in 1981, Universal City, and I grew up in the area since then. And went to Samuel Clemens High School, graduated in 93. My wife, Becky, is a fourth generation resident of Cibolo. My kids are fifth generation residents. Wow. And so they, Opa used to come up horse and buggy and get his feed and all that other stuff. And so it's, we're very fortunate to have the long history that we do here in Cibolo. And it's been a great ride.
I stay out of politics whenever I can, but Stosh has been a lifelong friend of mine. And whenever you started into, really it was the mayor race. You were in some I don't even know what you call them, not city council, but the you were in some groups like the
economic development
committee,
Parks and Rec.
So whenever you just, it was like, "Hey, I'm running for mayor," I guess maybe I just started paying attention then, but it seems like the people just came, like there was a group of people, like you're saying, and those people didn't have their buddy or whatever the case was in the office, and they came unglued. Dude, you went through, whether you want to admit to it or not, you went through more shit just trying to do good for your community. People, I've got so many questions around that. I don't even know really where to start. But my big question is, like, you knew that was going to happen, or could have, high possibility.
Oh, I knew it was coming.
You knew that was going to happen whenever you decided to do this, and your boys are at an age where that was probably most impactful, could have been most impactful for them. And I mean, you were able to make that a lesson, a life lesson for your boys. That's incredible, really. Why would you do that?
Serving on the boards and the commissions, I ran for council, and, they ousted me for no reason on the economic development board. They dismantled the Parks and Rec Commission for no reason. And it was a wildly successful commission. And, that very same year I was elected by my peers as the Citizen of the Year.
What is that? There's a name for that. What is that called?
The Gary Kelly Award.
Gary Kelly.
And that's a big deal because it's not like there's been 50 of them. Someday there will be 50 of them. But there's only, and when you got it, there was only a handful at that time.
Right. Yeah. When I decided to run for mayor, I was just like, enough's enough. I'm tired of running for these district council seats, because I didn't think it was indicative of what I represent. So when I run for mayor, that group, they knew it was coming. They they knew that we're going to clean house, and we did.
Yeah.
I mean, on no
a
uncertain terms. I mean, it was, we got one more elected. We got another one elected. And then he started seeing the dominoes fall, not just on city council, but on staff, and I got a lot more staying power than most. And so to answer your question, I knew it was coming, but I knew who would be standing in the end. So
Nice.
What's it like being mayor? Like what is
I love it. I mean, the last 5 years have been, some great fond memories, but that it's never been what's defined me. It never will be what's defined me. It's the people of the community. It's being able to organize events and having 1,000 kids participate. It's being able to organize events and dancing with a senior, taking pictures of seniors dancing with the firefighters. It's businesses that the business owners are scared to death that their sacrifices and putting everything into the business is going to work. And good and damn well that they're going to be a wild success because you're going to rally around the community. You're going to get the people in the businesses. You're going to stay positive. You're not going to let negativity overshadow people's hard work and dedication to the community. And that's what it's all about. It's about getting people off their ass and out into the community. And, it hasn't just been the last 5 years. It's been the last decade. We've seen it grow. There's a lot of other communities that are growing at the same pace that you don't see the kind of events and the type of activity in the community. We had a town hall meeting about a month ago, and staff was whispering, "Oh yeah, we'll be, if 10 people show up, it'll be a success." We had like 60 people, 50, 60 people, which we thought was a great success. But, I opened the town hall meeting going, when I was elected mayor, I only remember 2 town hall meetings and they were packed. Why? Because it was Move Walmart was one of them, and Let's Get Rid of the Toll Road was the other.
Right.
And it was like, man, we ain't got to just meet because you're pissed off. I mean, let's have a town. And man, we've had town hall meetings at the Noble Group. We've had town hall meetings at the elementary schools at Dobie.
That's a nice place over there, the Noble Group. Have you been over there?
Yeah, it is nice. Yeah.
Yeah. They welcome us in every single chance they get. And that's a good example of a group that, not just Donnie Jackson, but the whole group, Ivor Freeman, everybody that works there, they believe in serve the community, and the community will serve you, and they don't ask for a thing, and they just give, and they've been a wild success, everything that they do over there.
I was laying in bed, and I one night, and I got this. Was on social media, and I saw Jason put up a video for local talent, the entrepreneurs thing, and I'm like, oh my God, Stosh is on. I got to listen to this. And I saw you had like a beer, and I'm like, I want to be on this show, like. Anyway, I turn it on. I'm like, Amy, check this out. And I push play, and we get like 30 seconds into it. And you're explaining the story about how Brad Bailey got you in to, I swear to God, got you into government. And it's a wonderful story.
You saw
and
that?
Yes, of course. It was like, I played it over and over. And Amy's like, turn that off or whatever. But tell that story.
Brad Bailey, who also attended Sam McClemens, he was on the yearbook staff with me, and I remember hey Stosh, can you join the yearbook staff, man? I mean, I just can't get the access. He's, with the athletes and these kids, and can you help us out? I said, man, sure, Brad. I don't have to do anything, do I?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. But so yeah, I joined the yearbook staff, and so. A lot of us went up to Southwest Texas. And so, Brad was, he reached out to me. He said, hey man, I need you on ASG, man. I'm like, what is ASG? It's, I'm thinking Arizona State. What the hell are you talking about? Associated Student Government, you're in a fraternity, man. And, we need to kind of turn this up a little bit and get a little more, exposure and everything. And I said, sure, Brad, but I'm not going to campaign, or I'm not going to do any, I'm giving them friction on it. And And no, he walked me through, and I ended up being the largest vote getter in their deal. And
well, you were part of this fraternity, right?
Yeah.
And you helped Brad out a little bit, and he's like, "Hey, why don't you get on here too?" But that was a big part of your campaign for mayor, right? And so years later, you're getting ready to campaign, and you were.
Yeah.
Did you remember that story?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to do that again.
Yeah.
So what were your tips? Like Jason was asking.
Well, I took a little bit of everything from everybody. I run for city council already and lost, and I'm scratching my head. Why did I lose, man? I'm the local guy, and I shouldn't be losing these types of races. Well, it wasn't about going out and getting the numbers. It was about inspiring the voters. The guy I ran against inspired our district. He told everybody he was going to move Walmart, so he inspired them to go out and vote for him. And I learned a lesson. Not that he wasn't going to move Walmart, but I needed to figure out what was going to inspire the voters to come out and vote for me. So, and to do it organically and to do it honestly, that was important to me. And, it worked twice.
So Mike said the same thing about when his first loss was, if you added up all the signs in the yards, he would have won, but he didn't.
Right.
He didn't let everybody know what day that he said he failed, that he didn't let everybody know that the voting was on a Saturday and a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I guess kind of the same, you inspiration is whatever it is, but so what was the inspiration for you? What was the inspiration to your voters for you? Were you running against something?
Well, part of it was the platform I had in 2017 was anti-toll road. I thought the toll road was going to it was already tearing our community apart. And I was I was on the EDC committee, and that's why I got voted off, because I was one of 36 people total that voted against the toll road. And so, you were
the only vote.
Yeah, I was the only vote that out of city council, planning and zoning, the Blue Ribbon Committee, and the economic. Oh. I was the only vote, and I remember telling my colleagues after the vote how they're going to screw our town up, and this is going to tear us apart, and we didn't do enough. And it turns out, we were heading down that path, and we got into business with somebody that we really shouldn't have been in business with. And
so there was a toll plan from 35 to I-10 to run right through Cibolo, right?
Right.
So what's the argument for having that toll road?
Connectivity. You're going to relieve congestion on 35. That's the argument for it. The argument against it is, you're going to go across farmland. You're going to dump out on Zool Road, which is the middle of nowhere. You're going to, split farms in half. And I just kept going back to one thing was, in the 2 years plus that they were planning this thing, there was 52 landowners, and they had talked to like 7 of them. And I just thought that was an egregious, misuse of government, in a very, not
authoritarian.
Not respecting property rights. So
you think that? Do you think the toll road is the main issue why you got elected?
No. It was the Cibolo Summer Nights. It was the emphasis on our seniors. It was working together with the other communities. It was all the things that we were able to bring to the table, to enhance Cibolo, because we were destined to be on this island. And, we were at a point where the city council was bad-mouthing shirts, at our city council meetings, and right in front of them. And it's like, hey guys, what happens when Shirts gets upset at you and cuts off our 911 service? What happens when we can't borrow an auger from them because ours broke down? You got to look at the big picture. And it was just so, you could tell it was folks that didn't plan on making Cibolo their long life. It was, they loved that name badge. It's probably on a mantle somewhere in most of their homes or wherever they are.
Wow.
And I'll, real quick, full disclosure is that I voted for the toll road. Cibolo had approached me, and I considered myself friends with Alan Dunn. Christy and I, and
who's Alan Dunn?
The former mayor,
prior to Stosh, right?
Correct. And
was your first race against Alan?
Yes. Yeah. I voted for Alan the year prior, and I was a big supporter of his.
And that's kind of the way I felt. And on the MPO, Cibolo came to me and said, and mind you, I was the only one no vote for tolling 1604 when the MPO was going to toll 1604. So I know what it's like to be on an island around giants. There was a lot of it, the mayor of San Antonio was, all these people were on this board. It was a big, who's this guy from the Northeast Partnership, get on board. But anyway, for some reason, it was like kryptonite. They wanted this toll road so bad. It was a powerful force in Cibolo, and it was a mountain to move. And that's like, so Stosh gets elected and, hey, get rid of the toll road, and it's like that alone is an accomplishment, like a massive accomplishment, right? So,
if you disagree on things, you should, a healthy relationship, you should disagree on things, but it was so weird how polarizing this one topic was. Moving forward with the positivity is, I think we saved our downtown. I think if we built that toll road, it would have, you hit the nail.
Route 66, right?
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head, Kevin, is why aren't we building this stuff here? We got over 30,000 residents here, or I think it was 28 when I took office. Why are we not building stuff for residents to stay in Cibolo? Bypassing our downtown would have been a huge mistake. I was thrilled when Santikos announced that they were going to build, and up at that development, all the shopping and stuff for the future, because, that means that my teenage drivers can stay, on Cibolo Valley.
Freeway.
Yeah. And it's, they don't have to drive to San Antonio or New Braunfels, and, it's a huge thing, and they're putting into our local economy. But on the same token is like Mayor Gutierrez shirts that took Michael Carpenter's place. We were talking the other day, and it's like, I hope this business comes. Well, I don't care if it's a shirt side or the Cibolo side. We really don't. We genuinely don't. If I can help in any way with Garden Ridge shirts, Marion, New Berlin, I mean, we have a fantastic relationship with, Seguin, and if we can help each other in any way, are we going to compete for the big ticket items? You're damn right we are. But you know what? If it ends up in Selma, I'm not going to cry about it. I'm going to go patronize the business, and I'm going to be happy for Selma. It's simple.
You had said about bringing Cibolo to 35, and it just I heard you say it several times that was how important that was for you, and I was just like, all right, yeah, I mean, I get it. I saw it after it was done, why that was so important to you and why that was so impactful for Cibolo.
When you drive past 1103 and you see Cibolo Hubertes Trail, and then you're going through Shirts, and 3 miles later you see Cibolo Valley Drive. The guy driving down from Dallas is going, man, Cibolo's pretty big. It goes all the way down to 10. Holy smokes! And so it's a little bit of a smoke and mirrors, but at the same time it gets. I learned that when I was on the EDC. Tim Bird, he brought it up. He goes, man, whoever the marketer for Salado, the city of Salado, they're a genius. Because all you see is these billboards, Salado, you got to go to Salado, welcome to Salado. And you veer off 35 and you go in and you go, what the heck are they talking about?
I missed it.
And not taking nothing from them, actually, giving them props, because, man, there's the marketer there. I mean, whoever that should be LeBron James's agent. That's, I'm telling you.
Are you guys still looking to develop the lower 78 to I-10, some sort of route that you can pick through there?
Yeah.
Are you guys still trying to work through options for that? Or
so 1103 dead ends into 78. 78 runs horizontal, and it runs parallel with 35 and 10. On the Shirt side, 3009 dead ends into 78 also. Well, we're talking about taking those two roads and funnel them together. So if you want to call it 3003 or 1109 or whatever you want to call it. You know, we've before COVID, we were talking with Mayor Gutierrez and talking about acquiring property, making a path that kind of follows Cibolo Creek. And so by doing that, you know, there's ways of enhancing Cibolo Creek and making it kind of a water district, you know, making it kind of appealing, you know, for this new road to come in. My philosophy is, and, you know, I may or may not be right on this, but, you know, you have all that farmland down there. If you communicate properly to the landowners and say, we have this road coming in, we're not trying to split your land in half, but if you can allow it as a future thoroughfare, one day you'll have both sides of a commercial road. And so maybe not for you, but maybe for your grandkids or even your kids, this will be a highly appealing, very lucrative, you know, prospect for them. And so that's one idea. The other idea is to resurrect the old toll road properties and see if we can salvage some relationships, which we've had some soft conversations with. But I think the most feasible is to shift that connectivity over towards Santa Clara and pick up some of those more rural roads and connect them. But by doing it, do it the right way and talk to the landowners and you know, here's what the plan is.
Well, you know where the number one Bill Miller's is, right?
Yeah, 3009.
3009.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Boyce Miller told us that
Yeah.
at a luncheon. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know the number one HEB, 3009. And I'm pretty sure the Selma Costco's up on the list. Yeah.
At least for gas. I mean, geez, I've never
That
seen
place
nothing
is
more.
nuts. They have every lane.
Never seen nothing.
Costco gas.
You should go in the store.
I'm like, are y'all giving it away?
But then for Cibolo, the trick is, and the reason I'm asking about this development is, your future is I-10. Mm-hmm. At some point, whether it happens in 10 years or 50 years, I-10 is going to be, hopefully you build a forum and have a Costco.
Yep.
And all those, I mean, that's the type of stuff, if you guys get on top of it and get that stuff going down.
We're already talking about it.
Okay, good. Yeah. And so then the matter is, you got to get those rooftops from up near 78 down to I-10. And that was kind of always where the head scratcher is, but
not really. We've slowed down the high density housing. We did away, you know, so the way our nomenclature works, SF6 is 6 houses per acre on down to SF1. So those of you listening, is a single family one, right? So 1 house per acre. And so most of that was zoned SF6. And so we did away with that SF6. There are no longer 6 houses per acre can be built in the city of Cibolo. So we just did away with SF5. And so we're down to 4 houses per acre is the highest density you can build. We're passing a study for a moratorium. And what it's going to do, it's going to handcuff our builders into making sure that their developments are built correctly into our master plan.
Yeah, when you came into office, wasn't it like, didn't they have a crazy amount of SF6?
Yeah, we're built on a third of our land, and 90% of it's SF5 and SF6. So, you know, we're able to pump the brakes, not stop the growth, but just do it more sensibly. And what we've managed to do is we've managed to talk to the developers, get driveways that can fit a 20-foot excursion in them, get 3-car garages that can actually fit vehicles in the garage, get houses pre-wired for electrical vehicles, plug-ins, get wider streets so that you don't have to play Frogger going down. And the bare minimum isn't always the best, and so we've been able
to minimum for
it works great for the developers, but we've got a group of developers now that are on board with building quality housing. And, you know, if you want any of that, you know, if you want high density, you can go in several parts of Cibolo, you can go in several parts of Schertz, all the way through San Antonio and go find whatever you want. But, you know, we've had enough of it. We want more quality, and we've proven that we have the patience to wait for it. We've proven that we have the wherewithal to ask the right questions and get the the fishing ponds and the monument statues and all the stuff that goes with it to enhance our quality of life, to make a neighborhood that you're proud of. You know, we're no longer going to be just this crapola. You know, you drive into a neighborhood and there's Forest Leaf. Oh, this next street is Forest Run. This one's Forest Way, and this one's Forest Waters. You know, you can get that anywhere. You're not going to get that in Cibolo. You're going to get, you know, just a little bit of thought put into some of the stuff that's happening. So.
Well, you saturated the market with those houses, so now it's time to, you know, I mean, Selma has Olympia Hills, and then we have some, you know, different, you know, Selma Park Estates, and then we have the, you know, there's different levels of workforce and different standards. We're building apartments off of Lookout Road right now. That's one of the big things. We have the hospital coming in. Because we need that workforce, and you don't want to have a workforce that, you know, you can't afford to pay these people because, you know, their quality and style of living. It's hard to attract industry and those type of jobs if you have that. But, you know, we're trying to supplement some of the things we're doing with some apartments, and we have them strategically placed off of Lookout Road. So
what do you feel about when you leave office? Whenever is there term limits in Cibolo?
Yeah,
for the mayor.
Yeah, it's 6 years.
So you're coming up.
You're not
going to be able to run for mayor again.
No.
So when you were just not talking about, you know, and all the things, all the right questions.
Jason, I ain't going nowhere, man.
My point is, are you worried about that not being there after you leave?
Not at all. We got a group of council members. We have a staff. We have citizens that have woke up. We have a group that has a unified vision, and you know, we may disagree on a few items.
Carpenter's big thing was leave it better than you found it.
Right.
You know, and what I didn't get a chance to ask him is your better or my better. You know what I mean? And I mean, you and I are on the same page, and it sounds like a lot of Cibolo is now on the same page. You know, y'all all have the same vision. You know, but before you got into office, you know, better meant different things to different people.
You know, at some point we're going to ask you to tell us some of your big accomplishments, and we'll get to that for sure. But I'm curious to see what he says. But I mean, leave it better than when you got there. I mean, where do you start? In Cibolo,
in his case, yeah.
Where would you start if you're like, hey, you know, I became mayor? How am I leaving? How did I leave it better? Oh my gosh!
It started back when I was, you know, attending Mrs. Austin's English class back at St. Clemens High. I mean, that's where I started. I started by playing catch with Mayor Kirkhow in Universal City. You know, he'd come out and throw football with us. You know, that's where you start. I mean, and where you leave it, then that's the big man's decision. You know, so you know, that it is nice to see a project get underway. It's nice to finish a project. You know, we'll have Cibolo Valley Drive gutted up in the middle of being fixed.
You guys are going to do Cibolo Valley Drive?
Yeah, we're going to do finish it from where we left off with the partnership with Shirts and go all the way down to 1103.
Wow. You've had some changes at the staff level in Cibolo. I've noticed, I'll full disclosure, I met with Wayne about 3 weeks ago. You know, obviously I represent the city of Cibolo for the MPO, and I wanted to talk to him about some other things you guys have going on. Wayne, you guys did a video, and one of the things that he did when he got hired, because I hope he fully understood what he was signing up for, right? Because there was a lot going on. Well, when he took the job, one of the things he implemented with the staff is some sort of leadership training, and he mentioned that in the video that you guys shared with the chamber.
Right.
And I was like, wow, this is really interesting. I mean, this guy's really on top of it. What a genius way to start. He's coming into this, you know, relatively rough environment. I don't want to say toxic, but it wasn't the best thing to walk in day one. And it's looked like everybody bought in. And I talked to, you know, other people with your city, and they're like, yeah, it was really good. And, you know, we enjoyed it. So I wanted to go meet with him and stuff. Man, I think the world of that guy. He came from Georgetown, right? Mm-hmm. And what he was doing planning up there for him?
He was their assistant city manager, and he was also, before that, he was in the city of Sentinel, Colorado, and he was a city planner for them and assistant city manager. But really, he's came in and we identified a few things that we needed done. We needed our projects finished. They can't drag on forever. We need our inspections department and permitting department completely cleaned up. And I'm going to tell the surrounding areas, watch out, because we are going to have a process that's like no other, and it's going to really entice the businesses. So we're challenging our neighbors to step their game up, and this is part of.
Are we talking about like the permit process?
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough process, and it's, you hear a lot of people just shrug their shoulders and goes, it's a municipality thing. It's every city's like this, but it doesn't have to be. And when you have the same complaints coming from the same people over and over and over from different complainants, you got to raise your eyebrows and go, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm. And I also noticed with Wayne, your council meetings have been a little shorter.
Yeah.
Is that because you guys aren't bickering for 2 hours about the last spot on the Parks Commission?
Yeah.
Because you guys they sort through interviews. It's like every time you get elected and then you have to pick who's going to be on these committees.
Yeah, it was brutal.
And it's like another political process.
Wayne's been instrumental in that. Also, Peggy Simmons has been instrumental working with me and trying to clean some of these meetings up. And I've challenged our council. I got a council now. Here in the last 3 years, I've had a council that I could, for the most part, I could challenge, and we've been able to do that. And it's,
what are they, 2 hours now? 2 hour meetings?
No, we like to run them about 4 or so.
Oh, you got them all the way down to 4.
Yeah.
But I think 2 would be a good goal. I think that's
2's definitely a goal.
Well, what about not Toyota, but Toyota's
Ison?
Yeah.
Well, they came in, they've hired 600 employees, phase 1. And so they're now building phase 2, and they're going to hire, I think, another 600 employees once phase 2 is up and running next year.
Wow.
What
do they do there?
Transmissions and GPS systems, but mainly they're doing the transmissions, and they sell to Toyota and I think BMW and Hyundai and them, but Toyota's their main customer.
Is the railroad a crucial part of their business?
No.
Okay.
Workforce.
What I mean by that is as far as transport, getting stuff in and out.
No,
because isn't their land situated by
their ports? So their accessibility to Port San Antonio, their accessibility to Houston and Corpus Christi were a big thing.
Okay. So you want to do a lightning round?
Yeah, it's time. Lightning round. Here we go. Mayor Stosh Boyle. What makes you feel old, sir?
My peers make me feel old because I'm staying the same age.
Yeah. Would you rather be the best player on a horrible team or the worst player on a great team?
Worst player on a great team. Absolutely. When I coached soccer for a decade, we always had a high return rate because Mike Andrews and we would always do a really good job of making our worst player better than your worst player. And we won a lot of games using that philosophy.
Wow. That's a great idea. That's a great way to look at that.
Well,
was that specific?
Yeah. And because,
or intentional.
Yeah. Because, good players come and go, and chances are, this, Kevin, the good players probably ended up on select teams, and you'd lose them.
They're the ones that'll tear you up too.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, they'll do something.
Hey, guys! I know I'm on the non-sports island over here, but I'll have I coached soccer too.
You did. I remember that.
Yeah,
one year. It was hilarious.
It was hilarious. Talk about a fish out of water.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you wear shorts?
No.
He wore a blue lion outfit like that.
You're not a sports guy, or you don't like Star Wars.
Yeah, both are true.
Not a Star Wars guy. I don't want to work on that. If everything in your house had to be one color, what color would you choose?
I'd say turquoise, man.
I was gonna say blue.
Yeah. Turquoise, because that's
goes with everything.
You know what? That's kind of my native thing, right?
Yeah. If you got stuck in an elevator and were forced to listen to only one song, what song would you pick?
I tell you what I want. What I really, really want. I want a zig a zig ah. If you want my future, forget my past. If you want to get with me, better make it last. You cut me off?
Yeah, no,
I didn't get to Baby Spice yet, bud.
What happened on your worst date?
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Me and my brother took Becky out to some kind of music fest that was it was her birthday, and yeah, Robert O'Keen was finishing up. He was the headliner, and so it was like a 10-hour music fest, and me and my brother were so drunk. I think we lost our shirts and our everything, and
Shocker.
and yeah, and we yeah, she didn't have a very good time. She was I was pretty disappointed for her
Yeah.
the next day.
You had the time of your life, though.
Not as disappointed as you were for yourself for the next week, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Is there somebody in our community, a politician, mayor, county commissioner, judge, governor, anybody that you confided in or that really kind of like sat you down and like who was like when, you know, I mean, I had Tom, Daley, and Leonard John in my ear, you know, the whole time, you know, for a little while, and that helped. But I relied on Mike Carpenter a lot. My relationship with him. Is there somebody that
Kevin, you're killing me, dude. I tell you what. I mean, you know, I can't even begin to start naming names.
Well, I do know a name that you can name, and it's not an elected official. What influence does Becky have? You know, we had trustee Jose Macias from Judson Independent School District, and when he named the high school Mackey High, his wife made him sleep on the couch when he voted for that night. I mean, for Cibolo, I know she'll do anything, and for you, she'll do anything. I mean, she's an amazing wife, an amazing woman, amazing mom, all those things. But
yeah, I hit the lottery, you know, and there's nothing. That's what makes this so easy. Is we've been through a lot worse shit than politics. So
you grew up in an area of northern Wisconsin, not too far where I grew up from, in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, where the tribes are just part of the culture. It's around. Right. You go to the tribes, you drive through the tribes. You know, you used to buy some cartons of cigarettes, and you go in and then you do shopping, and like I grew up in in a town called Marquette. There's a university. They would do a powwow, and I got to attend one. It was nothing like I thought it would be, and it was an amazing thing. And I was wondering what your dad thought, and I said, "What do you think of the powwow?" And he was, he kind of lit up a little bit and smiled, and we got back to the air show. But you've brought so much. You have Cibolo Summer Nights, which the community kind of put you through the ringer on that one, a little bit. Some of the people asked you, some of the naysayers pushed back on where the money's coming from and stuff. Yeah. But you've done that, and you've had the, back in the day, the little disc golf, and you're building the Field of Dreams and all, all the for the Special Olympics. And, but the powwow, that's gotta be like, I went to the Northeast Partnership to see that. And these guys come down and they do this whole thing to try to get, you're like digging in your wallet, here, just take my credit card, I mean, those guys are real pros. But do you intend to do that again this year?
Putting a powwow on down here is a lot bigger feat than it is in an area that you have, a lot of Indian tribes like Arizona, New Mexico, Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin. They have established, traditions, and here you're kind of on the fly. Everybody's jockeying for position, and everybody wants, but when you're able to put something together, everybody can enjoy themselves. And I think that's what it's all about. You talked about the Cibolo Summer Nights. So my idea going in, so in 2013, I know I talked to you about doing a sports league in the city of Cibolo. Hey, why don't you guys start your own BVYA? Man, that's a simple idea. Let's do it. Baseball, football, soccer. Hey, man, no problem. And so we brought a group together. Your brother was part of it. And we started scratching our heads going, oh, shoot, we have too many established leagues here, and they don't want to go under one umbrella. So it was kind of like we missed our window of opportunity a little bit. And we didn't have much support from the city council at the time or city manager. And so, I was revisiting that in 2017 when I run for office, and I said, well, shit, let's try to fix this a little bit. Kind of like the powwow confederacy, you have different groups. Let's just have a kid party And so we, in every, man, I remember, city manager and staff didn't even, leave the door unlocked for me on my first meeting. I was like, I had to prop it open and hold the meeting and, hold the door open. And they just thought this was a joke. And it wasn't a joke to a lot of, groups that were passionate about this, the Cibolo Spartans, the RBI baseball, just to name a few, man. I mean, the list is a mile long. Now we have the Cibolo Junior Knights. We have the Tri-County Titans. We have the Relentless Soccer. We have, Boy Scouts. We have karate. But what we did is we just threw a party, right? So we said, just let's bring them all together. And, hey, you don't have to do football drills. And so what do? They do a dance contest. We do slip and slide. This Friday we're having another fishing tournament, live fish. We're going to dump, I don't know, 400 fish in a swimming pool, and we're going to have a fishing contest for the kids. And
that's coming up.
That's on Friday. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not for Stan though.
Yeah. No.
Stan, you don't get to do it, buddy.
No, he can't catch any fish, but yeah, and it's been a wild success, man. We've paired it up with a lot of different things. We've kept it from being commercial. We've have a lot of good volunteers, and that's the excitement that our community brings. They come out in droves, man. There was one event, we had like 1,200 kids there, man. And what that does for our downtown businesses, you can only imagine. What that does for our Walmart, you can only imagine. What that does, for our community, you can only imagine. And so, we do those types of things. And it, at the, we had a candlelight vigil for the Uvalde victims, and it was, man, it was tough. And so, of course, folks start walking up and they're wearing Uvalde t-shirts, and so I go talk to them. Hey guys. And they're actually native Uvalde residents.
That Uvalde thing affected me deeply. Like, I have a kid in elementary school, and when the shooting happened in Florida and the other ones, sometimes I'll call my school board member at Judson. Hey, does your police department talk to the local city police departments? No, not really. Well, okay, well, hey, do we keep the doors locked at our schools? I don't know. But what just a tragic thing to happen. And is there anything that cities can do to help? I don't, do I call Tom and say, hey, can you get our police? What can we do to help?
So the human nature is, why do we have doors propped open? Why do we have such a long response? Why don't we have the right response? Those are the quick answers that we want. There's no quick answers to it. There's nobody at fault here. There's nobody. The fault is all of us, right? The fault is staring you in the face in the mirror, and giving somebody the time of day, working with young kids, talking to them, finding out what their real issues are.
Yeah, there's a reason why he felt compelled to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean, as long as there's human nature, there's going to be flaws in a system.
Right.
And I'm jumping in here. I probably shouldn't be, but one of the things though that, I had a little motovlog, and one of the things that I've been actually, I'm glad you started it off like this, because one of the things that I want to talk about is that one thing that nobody seems to be talking about Uvalde is why. Why would one human being feel compelled to do this? That's to me, that's the conversation worth having. You're going to get a lot of emotion and justified. You're going to get a lot of emotional response. Oh, we want armed veterans at the door. We want locks. And then you got the people arguing against that. Oh, maximum security prisons. And you got all this crap. Take the guns. You got all this. Those are, like you said, those are just the quick, emotional, knee-jerk reactions, but it does not do anything for a solution. It's a reaction.
I agree with Stosh and you too, Jason, that there's a societal thing going on. And I was helping Eric Anderson with some training for leadership training and motivation training for teachers. And so I set up a meeting with Dr. Gibson and then one with Dr. Ball at Judson to see if we could open up some doors and try to get this, help him with his business a little bit. And one of the things, talking both those superintendents and having a wife that's a school counselor, is teachers are getting absolutely beat up from every angle right now. And it's societal. It's the fact that somebody feels comfortable going on a plane and starting a fight with Mike Tyson. Yeah. It's the fact that you flip somebody off now on the road. We've all been mad driving. Everybody's, pushed it a little and your kids freak out and you calm down and, and now you can't do that because people now just feel entitled to just do whatever, run you off the road. They'll run you off the road. And the thing that concerns me is the tidal wave of change. And like you said, there is no quick fix. Obviously, I think there's some things we could improve on. There are ways to identify people, right? But at the same time, it's like, why do all of a sudden people feel even more so now? And I'm talking, obviously COVID was a window. We can't count any statistics or whatever during that time period. But leading up to that, it was kind of happening. And now it's exacerbated, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Now it's just people feel just entitled just to start a fight with Mike Tyson. Who goes and starts a fight? Like, what are people thinking?
And people are using COVID as an excuse to be mad, an excuse not to talk to somebody, an excuse to, we're not going to shake hands. We're going to stand away. We're going to, a lot of that crap is just excuses. My middle son, I'm going to pick on him. He said he was going to come to work with me today. He told me he was going to work with me yesterday and today.
You look beat, by the way.
The sun's been kicking my ass, man.
What, 105?
Man, I tell you what. Oh yeah.
I interrupted you. You were talking about your middle son, and he was going to come to work with you today. And
yeah, well, he went and he worked out last night, and till what is he usually works out 10, 11 o'clock, and then he decided to make himself dinner at 1 o'clock in the morning, which he's a great cook. And, but just 1 o'clock in the morning, son, come on. And then, so he happened to
get up at 6.
And then, well, yeah. And he mentioned to my wife, cause my wife heard something. So she gets up and, oh yeah, tell Dad I'm not going in. I got to go, work my steer tomorrow, for FFA, and I got stuff I got to do. And, so she tells me in the morning, and I'm like, man, we're not going to play this tin cup can game, telephone, and I said, get out of bed, son, it's time to go. And I was trying to be responsible. You're not calling in, guy, and we had a very serious conversation about schedule and about, well, it's
reliability.
Yeah. And it's like, I said, I'm not working my schedule around your schedule. You told me the days you're going to work, and people are dependent on you. So, you got to, you just got to constantly work at this stuff and make it happen.
It reminds me of the only time I told my dad that same thing. I wasn't going to go on a job. And, it was, I was seeing this girl, local girl, how it is. And so,
who was it?
Nobody y'all know. And so, I was pretty young. And so, we were going to go to do this job in Oklahoma, and it was just official, like the night before. Me and this chick are like a thing now, right? And I'm like, oh, by the way, I'm going to go into Oklahoma for 3 months. Good luck keeping that gal around. So I was him hauling around. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to say it. I was just, my dad comes. It's like 5 o'clock the next morning, and he's getting all of his clothes and everything, and then he looks at me and he goes, Are you ready? Because I never got up before him, and he's looking at me, and I'm in the clothes that I was in the night before, and he's like, he knew something was up, and I said, Dad, I'm gonna skip this one out. I'm gonna stay here. I'm not gonna go.
Oh, I bet you that went over well with Bill. Huh?
The amount of shame that I felt from that, he didn't have to say a whole lot. Going back to politics, right? So, what's the one thing that you wish you knew before you got into this life, this politician's life? One thing, if you could sum up to one thing you wish you knew, what would it be?
So the wheels of the government work very, very slow. And I wish I was better prepared for how long and hard a road it is to make change.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you see that getting better? No, it's just the nature of the beast.
No, I think it's actually going in the opposite direction, and I don't. To be honest with you, I mean, I've learned some tricks along the way to try to expedite it and fix it a little bit, but I don't
process
see
is still there.
Man, I don't see it getting any better. These hurdles, you got to put it on the agenda. Can you think of how hard it is for a city manager in a home rule city like ours and Schertz and that has to appease 7 council members and the mayor, and has to listen to all their opinions, and then has to put it on an agenda that's posted 72 hours before the meeting. You have to get input from your staff. You have to, and then you take it and you march it up to council, and they poke holes on it. Some of them do their homework, some of them don't, and start poking holes in policies, and then the city manager has to go and okay, let's not vote on it tonight. Let me get those answers to you, and then wait another 2 weeks. Oh my God!
Well, you sign it to one of your staff members to look for, shop around for ladder trucks, and they tell you the closest place you can rent them is up in Austin, and
right.
And it's
I forgot about that.
Yeah. What? You guys don't have any lift trucks down here?
You know what I've noticed about Kevin? He doesn't give an example. He gives like a flashback.
Yeah,
he's not giving you a hypothetical example.
Because
he's got a memory like an elephant, man. I mean, he remembers. What I like about Kevin the most is he's very sensitive to the hurdles that you've had to go through, that I've had to go through, and I see you do it with other people. So when I was discussing an issue with you, you were actually listening, and you were thinking of solutions for me and stuff. And I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
That's a very strong quality that you have that not too many people have.
Well, it's real simple in this region, and I think the city managers that we have in this area now fully understand this, is that if you have a problem and it's something like getting a ladder truck to do street lights, or what kind of paint sticks better when you're striping streets, why don't you call the neighboring city and ask them? How, it's like, hey, Johnny, Cibolo's, they're I just heard their council meeting and they can't get a ladder truck. And he's like, well, why don't they just use the place we rent right here in Selma? And it's like, I don't know. But that's government. There's no incentive for profit. There's no incentive to push. You can, I don't know. The only place I know where so we have to buy the trucks instead of just renting them. And that was the solution, even though there was local places, and this was being told to the city manager, and it was just, and that's government. I talked to a former Cibolo resident and Daniel Kearns. I ran into him up at Green Hall, and I said, hey, man, what are you doing now? And he goes, I'm working for the IRS. And I said, tell me what?
Yeah.
What are you doing? What? And I said, so, well, all right, what'd you do? And he's like, I just got done with my first week at the IRS. And I said, what'd you do? And he goes, we set up my email. True story. It wasn't him that set it up. It's the people's helping him get set up. They have a team of people getting him set up.
That's even worse. Not only did you, anyway.
Yeah, it's.
What's funny though? That reminds me of my business. I had a coup d'etat, I think they call that, right? A coup. Anyways, I had one of the managing members of my company took some of the staff, started his own business, all right? And so all this underhanded stuff. Anyways, the point is, I've had most of all those people come back to me and apologize, except for the main guy, which whatever. But one of the first people to come back, he goes, you make it look so easy.
Yeah.
I said, what are you talking about? And he goes, it took us a month to figure out how to set up a network.
And that's experience, Jason. And that goes back to, what I was talking about earlier. It just, same with organizing these events and stuff. A good example is the Thunderbirds tent, that looks so easy, right? You know how much work went into that?
I do, because Mindy was in the car sending me pictures.
Yeah.
I was laughing. I was like, oh, do they need
help? No, not just putting the tent up. I'm talking about the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. No, I told her to get video, and she wouldn't get it. She's like, "No, I'm not. I don't want him to see me. You can see like her dash and her steering wheel." She's like, "Quick snap it," and I'm like, and it's like looks like it's coming up, and everything looks good. And then the next picture, it's halfway down, and then the final picture, it's down, and there's water all over the runway.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my god!"
What's the biggest mistake you've ever made as mayor?
My biggest mistake is not making more time for my family.
Could you have? I mean,
Yeah, if we're gonna talk about riding Pegasus through the Valley of the Rainbows, and I had a wish, then I wish I could have, don't get me wrong, it's an invaluable experience that my family's had, the kids have had, but if I could have chosen a few more critical moments that I should have been home, I should have been blah, blah, blah,
So there's a story that you tell about you, and I'm pretty sure it's Trenton. Y'all were going somewhere down Main Cibolo. Main Street.
It was Gavin.
What's it?
Yeah. So
about putting up the signs?
Yeah. So 2017, Trent was playing baseball, and we're over in Pickerel Park or Johnny McDowell Park, and I had a meet and greet scheduled for that Saturday morning at, let's just say 12 o'clock. And so I told Becky, I said, yeah, I got to go to this meet and greet. And so I go, Gavin, you want to go with me? And he said, sure, Dad. At the time, let's see, 5 years. He was 13 years old, cruising down Deer Creek Boulevard. And I'm talking to somebody on the phone. And I go, oh, shit, there's so-and-so. There's Karen Hale handing out flyers for Alan Dunn. There's Dave Peterson. They got Alan Dunn's literature. This is like the one day that he block walked, by the way. And there's Jennifer Schultz. She's going to be at my meet and greet at noon. She's block walking with her family for Alan Dunn. Oh, there's Alan Dunn doing the Facebook Live, and I was like, good for him, man. They're out there hustling.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to tell you which one I called, but I called and I said, hey, are you going to my meet and greet? Oh no, we're going to go get some tacos or this, just lied about where they were at. I was like, all right, no problem. I get it. And, so my son, he heard this, and he was getting a little hot under the collar. So we roll up to Emily's Coffee House, which has always been very accommodating. And I go, come on in, Gavin, let's go. And he goes, no, I've heard all this stuff, Dad. He goes, and he grabbed a stack of yard signs out of the back of my truck, and he goes, I'm going to go put these in. And he walked up and down Main Street for like 2 hours. And that kid put more signs in these yards. Like, I swear it was like 10 of them,
Nice.
And he knocked on every single door up and down Main Street, which I had already,
Yeah.
But he made sure, man. And, I guess coming from a 13-year-old kid out there on Saturday morning, but that's the good stuff you take back. You're like, man, that's pretty cool. I'm glad I got to experience that. I'm glad he got to learn that.
That's awesome.
All the stuff that we didn't get to do or whatever that, you can look back on some of those life lessons and go, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Do you have any more political ambitions after this?
I'm going to write my book first.
Yeah. And then see what happens after that, huh? I am friends with somebody who had a freaking movement named after you.
Oh,
I stand with Stosh. That was a huge thing, man. That's, I'm going to hang my hat on that. I know people.
Well, I saw a guy the other day. He still had a Stand with Stosh shirt on.
yeah. Delgado.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So, that got to make you feel good. Even if it was 10
man.
people, you got 10 people.
No,
I
I can't say enough about the support that I've had through, whether it's the citizens, the business owners, the staff, the police, the fire. It's been, the surrounding communities. It's been amazing the amount of support that we've had. And it's just, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you've proven to people that you've tried to do the right thing.
Let's give him some applause. Take a bow. We'll end with that. There you go. Take a bow.
Stosh Boyle, Mayor Stosh Boyle.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. It's too much.
What an absolute privilege to have. He just wants it welded permanently, and that way you don't have to worry about it.
I see a lot of issues with this microphone stand, by the way.
It's up to code. We got the permits.
This could be a miniseries.
Netflix.
Do I make an appearance in my barbecue clothes when I had to go argue to get Joel Hicks on the MPO board because the council wasn't going to appoint him so Cibolo could have a say? Was that fun?